Tell me when you see it says live. Hey guys, and welcome to chapter 3, which is navigate. This is when the fun really begins. So just to kind of do a little recap on the beginning of the book all the way to now is the very first chapter is coming into presence, because we need presence so that we are aware of our thoughts, aware of facts versus fiction versus story. So first and foremost, get present so that you can take a look at the circumstance, take a look at the situation, notice what is. And then the second step is once you are aware, once you are present, then you can start unpacking the story, the limiting beliefs, the generational patterns, the religious dogma, as they say in the Four Agreements, all of the things that we were told that we get to start questioning in the unveil step, which was chapter 2. Chapter 3 is navigate. So now that you're present and you are unpacking the story, now what are you going to do about it? So in other words, okay, I notice what's happening. I know this is a limiting belief. You guys are all saying that, right? I know it's a limiting belief. I know it's just my thinking. I know it's just how it's been. I know it's not true. And I'm like, no, you don't know. Because if you knew, you would quit doing it. Like, no, I know. Now what? Well, once you know, you stop doing the same thing. So if you knew, you would not be doing the same thing anymore. You'd be automatically navigating, correct? Would you all agree? Kind of? Okay, so would we say, oh shoot, I forgot to record. Would we say that I know, but I don't know what to do differently? Would that be it? Emily says, yes, I agree. How would you guys give me some feedback on it?
I say it's you know in your mind, and you feel really free and liberated. But I mean, in my experience, the old habits and stuff still kind of still persist. So it takes practice to kind of fully embody the knowing. I mean, I think it's possible to know and have a revelation and be completely changed. But for me, I'm noticing I feel completely changed. And then there's that old stuff that comes back, but I'm freer than I was before. I'm just saying it takes time for me to fully become that new awareness and live in that new awareness.
Up until the point to where you can do the behavior is different. Yeah. Would you say? Like, in other words,
consistently.
Logically, I know it. I see it, but I'm still doing the old thing.
Or I'm doing the new thing, but not consistently solid every day. There's still like this ghost, this person who was there for decades. So it's hard to just fully, completely change. But I'm always aware when I'm aware.
We know, right? That's when we know, like, I see it, I can see it, right? So the navigate part is actually the interruption. It's when we interrupt the old habits and behaviors so that we can start becoming the new habit and behaviors. Does that make sense? Tell me, okay, let's just start with Joyce, Mallory, Emily, Candace. Let's just start with some feedback. What was the aha, or what did you notice in the navigate chapter? What stuck out for you? Anybody? You're on mute. I haven't quite up yet.
There was so much in this chapter that I could relate to. From the first page where it talks about it takes grit, we're just kind of talking about that. It takes grit, resilience, and loyalty to stay on track. And it's about being loyal to yourself and being your authentic self, which we haven't had much practice doing. So it is a tough change, but you have to be committed to making that change to be able to do it. If you don't commit, you're going to just fall by the wayside and go back to the old patterns.
Yeah, it's like over and over and over. We got to keep coming back to presence and keep questioning so that we can understand, keep unpacking it. so that we can make the new decision. So you think of the N is navigate, it's finding neutrality, it's changing the neural pathway, it's the actual practice of changing the neural pathways, changing the behaviors and habits. It's the point where you interrupt and you change the trajectory. So those who have been in coaching with me or in the program, you know, I talk about tattering. Tattering is when you try and then you assess what you tried and then you tweak. That's kind of like what navigating is. So it's like, okay, this is what I used to do, but then I noticed this is what doesn't work about that. So I tweak it. Let me try differently, right? We can take our kid-like behavior and notice how we've brought it into our partnerships. The things that worked when we were a child or teen, we try to bring it in. And then, but we're assessing, we're like, that didn't work. I wonder what I could tell them next time. I wonder what I can say next time. I wonder what I could do differently, right? How can I get that attention, that demands? How can I get that? How can I do that? How can I create that? Our brain does that. And it goes looking in the toolbox of the past, of what has worked before. When I believe we're really the most fortunate is when none of that shit works anymore. Then we finally have run out of the old resources, the old habits and behaviors, the old beliefs. That's when we come to the point to try something new and different. And so it's this constantly reminding ourselves, nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not what I do. Nope, that's not what I want. It's this constant navigate, know, neural pathway, neutrality, navigate into a different result, into a different ending. So it's like I'm going down the road and I always take exit 59. It's just what I've always done. It's what I'm trained to do. And then we get on exit 59, there's nothing there. It's not what we want. It's the old story. It's the old settling. The frustration. Does that make sense? And so we have to tell our brain, it's good. Our car is going to want to go. And we're like, no, no, no. Interrupt. That's not me. Not anymore. I don't want what's down there. I want something different. So I'm going to keep going straight. Another way to describe it is, let's say every night at 8:30, you're digging in the pantry for little Debbie. It's just a habit now, right? It's just your brain gets a reward, it gets from that treat. And so you naturally do it. And so navigating would look like you're standing there, you open the pantry, and then you are aware, right? You're presently standing in the pantry and you're looking, and what are you telling yourself? I want you all to really answer this. I shouldn't have that. Just one more time. If I hurry up and finish the box, if I can get it over with, I won't have to worry about it tomorrow. I don't want to waste the money. I already spent, like all of that starts, right? So we unpack that. And then what would be the navigate? What would you do? So I want you all to think about what would you do that would be different this time from the other times. And then I'm going to come read in the chat while you're doing that. So I think it's like, I hear what you're saying, and then there's, I know, and then there's embodying that. Yes. For real, knowing is one thing. Testing it in real life is where the rubber hits the road. Old habits die hard. And number 3, my own fears and habits are my worst enemy. Yep. It's like constantly redirecting a toddler. 100%. How many of you have heard me tell you, like, I'm fighting with the 7-year-old, fighting with the 4-year-old, like it's your toddler brain. It's a beast. The old habits and behavior. Like we're in the ring and we're like, this is what I told my friend the other day. We were talking about like addictive habits. And she was like, how do you work with clients? She was like, and I was like, it takes a lot of mindset when you're talking about addictive habits. And I was like, it's kind of like we're in the ring and I'm holding them by the hair and they are like swinging and kicking. And I'm just loving them. Just watching, just letting them get that tantrum out so that they can see they're not getting the results they want. And I keep loving them. Now, what they're used to is they fight and kick and scream. And then I would what? Beat them up, turn them off, do, whatever the old behavior is. I'm like, nope, we're just going to keep loving you because you're worth loving. And then what happens? They can surrender. And they can see that was me pitching a fit because now they're out of the fight or flight. So when you're in the pantry, when you're opening the cookies and it's like the little devil and the angel, right? Hey, we should really have that right now. You remember it's crunchy. Boy, it'd be good with some milk. Oh, we should put some ice cream on that, right? Whenever you have that conversation going on. So you can see why it requires the presence and the unveiling. Because your brain is naturally going to want to do the old behavior because it's what it's always done. Exit 59. Exit 59. Let's see, I'll let you give me some feedback. Anybody want to come on and kind of share how it's worked for them? I would say, I can imagine how I would feel after I eat the Little Debbie and then make another choice, maybe an apple. I would say, Emily, what are you really searching for? Because Little Debbie ain't it. Perfect. That is navigating. Anybody else? Maybe it's like drinking the second, third glass of wine. Maybe it's wanting to tell your husband something ugly, or maybe it's like not wanting to make the business offer, or maybe it's not putting the thing right. Maybe it's not sitting down and doing your scheduling on your calendar because your brain's like, it ain't worth it. Nobody cares anyway. Right? That's the old story. That's the old neural pathway. This is the part I always get hung up on. This is the part that I've had this chapter, even in like our punchline training. This is the chapter that gives most people trouble. If you forget a step, it's funny how you always forget navigate. Wouldn't you say? That goes to show that because the mind's always wanting to get to what are the results? What are the results? What are the results? And if we forget this shift, we're still in the old neural pathway. We're still in the old habits. I just listened to your episode, Why is Change So Hard? All about this stuff. Yeah. So Mallory, I don't know. We have a list somewheres of what these podcasts are like. What's the contents of the podcast? Why is change so hard? I'm not sure what number it is, but you guys can go look at the list. So it's Emily, imagine your toddler that because what they have their finger, right? And they're like poking the cake, the icing, and they just keep doing it and they just keep doing it. And we just keep stopping them and keep redirecting them and keep redirecting them. That's kind of like what we do. Like we just kind of like, I'm just going to kind of touch it. I'm just going to take a little taste. It's episode 71. Why is change so hard? I'm just going to take just one cookie. And then what happens when you open it and you have that one cookie? What's the next negotiation? That's another N word, by the way. I negotiate what I really want by habit and behavior. I negotiate my results in my dreams. I allow my neural pathway to win. I don't do the new behavior. That's another N. I like to link the words to the alphabet so that when you're like thinking about like, how do I navigate? What do I do here? It's like, oh, I do the new thing. I change the neural pathway. I find neutrality because neutrality isn't emotionally triggered, right? So you're standing at the pantry. You got the little conversation going on about the Little Debbie or the Oreo, right? There's like emotion that is triggered. And you're feeding that emotion, yeah? But if you can find neutrality and ask the question like what Emily said, like, what do you really want right now? What do you think that cookie is going to give you? And then you notice. There's another N. You notice what comes up. Like every time you're going towards exit 59, you can feel that pull in your body, right? It's just a habit. Like you can notice yourself wanting to go. It's just like the habit, right? It's your vehicle just wants to go there. So then you have to notice, bring yourself back to neutral, change the trajectory. If we did this 100 times, you would have created a new habit. I'm noticing it because I want a reward for a hard day of parenting. OMG. Could you just give yourself some self-loving, right? So then I question, why do I think I need a reward for doing life? So interesting, right? And why food? When did food become a reward? Because what's that neural pathway that's created around food being the award? Like we're talking about this today. Someone, was talking about having guests over from the storm, and there's the little kids, and it's like a lot of activity, and they're like running around with food on the furniture, and she doesn't have kids. It's like a different environment, for her. And I was like, when did food become part of our everything? Instead of it just being meals that we eat, like why is there food in the pews at church? Why is there food in the car? Why is there food on the furniture? Because we created the habit. That's our neural pathway, right? And the brain truly does get a chemical hit. It gets a response to eating. It's considered pleasure. It's taste, it's chew, it's crunch, it's soft, it's cold, it's whatever it is. Like it gets a reward. Food is comfort. From the time we nurse, it feels like comfort. Yep. So you can see where it's a constant reminder, like where else can I get it? What if I don't do it that way? What if I allow the urge and I just sit with the discomfort? So let's just sit there for a moment as we're navigating. So everyone bring up the habit. Is it you quitting on yourself? Is it you not moving forward in your business? Is it eating something in the pantry that you don't really want? Say you want to lose 30 pounds, but you're constantly eating. What else? Does anybody else? Is it maybe it's drinking? You don't like the way you behave, or you don't like the hot flashes, because as we get older and drink alcohol, it doesn't feel so good with the hormones, right? It makes this weird kind of feeling. What else? Write down something that you don't want to do anymore. You're already present. You're already unveiled it. You already are aware that it's a habit. Maybe it's picking a fight with people. Maybe it's closing down, shutting off, going inside instead of being vulnerable and having a conversation. Instead of being honest, maybe it's going be a hermit and pulling away. Susie says, emotional drama, page 23, the biggest distraction for sure. You want to talk about it? Do you want to come on? So it's not just me talking?
Sure, I'd love to talk about emotional trauma. This is that thing where I know, like I'm aware of it, but you wrote, emotional drama is the biggest distraction for most people. It's hidden in your stories, excuses, rationalizations, fear, blame, and addictive behavior, and the cause for staying stuck. So, and I've seen it, in other people, and it's in everyone, right? It's like, so you're aware of your inner hidden belief, like mine was, I'm a victim. So yay, I know I'm not really a victim. That's just a belief. It's not true. It's just a story. But I see, like, when I feel raw, or when I do feel hurt or attacked, and then I feel like a victim, and then I can be cruel, and then that whole drama is there. And it's like, I know it's bullshit. I know it's just not the real authentic me. But it's that's one of those things that is like, gets me, emotional drama. I mean, if I know I'm a highly sensitive person, so not that that's an excuse, but I'm very sensitive, so I feel things. So I really need to navigate, like, before I start spinning in the drama, to navigate. Because once I've spun down, it's like the car's wrecked, you know?
Or
So
that vice grip happens, right? Once you spin down, it kind of grabs you.
it's bad. And I mean, I'm so much better than I was. But it's still something that I deal with. And so meditation and presence and awareness and, going for long walks, whatever I need to do to manage it and to stay and to not react. Like there was times you said, if you're mad, don't text. And I'd be like, I'm gonna text anyway. I knew it was wrong. It's like, I'm mad. He's wrong. I know, like, I'm doing what I know I shouldn't do. I know I'm a grown woman. I'm not stupid, but I'm so mad. I mean, I think I'm getting better. I'm for sure getting better. But
So let's go there. What if you don't text? What will you feel?
Yeah, right. I feel like there's like a, you got to understand, and like, especially, like, I was in a Facebook group the other day and I was trying to have discourse because I love talking about metaphysics, philosophy, religion. I'm You don't have to agree with me. I genuinely enjoy discussing it. And so I said something about people having free will and they went crazy on me. No, we can attract our special, they're just like really kind of dogmatic on this one point. And I was really shocked. And so Susie Porter, the pride in me, wanted to say, oh yeah, I went to a Bible college, I studied A Course in Miracles. I wanted to say how much smarter than them I was because I thought it was so arrogant. And so I tried to not respond. But eventually I did, kind of with a passive aggressive, well, God bless you, I wish you well. But I felt hurt and I felt annoyed that we couldn't discuss and that they had to make me wrong because I didn't 100% agree with the way they said, the way their beliefs were. So it triggered me, I guess.
So these are two perfect examples of navigating or not navigating. There's another N. Navigating or not is like, I know I should navigate. That's not me anymore. That's not the results I want to get. What would have happened? This is so important. And this is why navigating is so hard. What would have happened if you wouldn't have given in to the urge to react? What would you have had to feel if you would have stayed? Like if you would have not had the Oreos, if you would have not text, if you would have not had that lashing out, come in and let's see what's there. This is for all of you. Emily, if you don't have that reward for being a mom, if you don't like cheat on yourself, because this is huge. Whenever I go to, let's say I'm doing something online and it has something to do with tech, that's the worst for me. And I'm just like, it's almost like my teacher's telling me to write a term paper on something I'm not interested in. It's like, it's this feeling way deep down in my belly. And it's like agitated and I'm like, I'm ornery and I'm itchy. It's like this, it crawls inside like my blood. I'm so mad. Like it's like when the internet doesn't work. When the internet doesn't come through, right? Can y'all all relate to that feeling? What does it feel like? Let's find out why navigating so hard. Anybody? Tell me
hard
what.
because I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel good. And I want to avoid feeling bored, frustrated, angry, attacked, hurt. If I feel hurt, I guess I want to hurt you back. I don't know. I don't like, it's that victim thing, I'll show you I'm smarter than you. Like just letting that go where somebody did something to hurt me or what I felt was unfair. That's like a really deep thing with me. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
I like to use what if in the navigating part. Like, what if they just think that about me?
Right. I mean, ultimately, yeah. Why don't I just love myself, approve of myself, trust myself? Why do I give my power away by caring what anybody else thinks? I've read the 4 agreements. I've listened to that agreement number 2 over and over and over and over. I don't want to care what they think, but I still do, to be honest, but I don't want to.
Okay, let's do this. Emily says, then I get to feel agitated. That's it. It's restlessness. I agree. Okay, I feel that also. Joyce says it feels frustrating. Mallory says it's the part where we feel the discomfort. Yes, it's a pin prickly feeling all over my body. So stay here. Let's stay here. Let's talk about like what we can do so that we can navigate and get to neutrality. It's going to take 30 seconds. Ready? So we're going to all do this together. So I want you to bring up the thing that you want to react to. You either want, so there's only two things. You only have two options. When you feel in an uncomfortable emotion, okay? Whether it's anger, rage, annoyance, deserving, whatever it is, when you're feeling that, you only do one of two things. One, you go in, you shut down. Two, you lash out. That's it. It's only two things. Now there's an A and a B of each thing, right? So going in means completely disassociating or oppress and suppress. So they're all in, but you can see the levels of it, right? Suppressed is I push it down. Oppress is repress is I completely ignore it. I shut down. It's not there. I eject my own body. I eject my own experience. And then, so that's I'm going in, I'm shutting down, I'm disconnecting, I'm turning off. The opposite of that is F you, take it back. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to give it back. I'm going to lash out. I'm going to stir one over the other. Always. That's in the action line. I go in or I go out. Okay. Now you're going to bring one thing up, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships. So health could be weight loss. It could be starting an exercise program. It could be getting off your butt and going walk this morning or doing your workout, whatever it is. Wealth is the thing you need to do to make money that's uncomfortable. And relationship is the thing you need to do to create more intimacy in the relationship that you want. Okay, so you bring one of those to mind. Kind of like I've just been telling you to do this term paper. You don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. Notice where you feel it in your body. Heart, gut, head. You don't get to do it. We are going to resist the urge to check in or check out. You don't get the cookie. You don't get the buffer. You have to do the project. And you have to have the deep conversation. Anybody want to volunteer where you feel it? Chantel? Where do you feel it?
I feel it in my heart, my chest.
Okay. So what does it feel like physically?
Kind of like pressure.
Okay. So I feel pressure on my chest. Is it in front? Is it inside? Is it all around? Like where do you feel it?
On the inside,
Okay.
front inside.
Does it feel like it's something heavy or something dark? How would you describe it? Like just it feels as if it would be, or it feels like when?
Like a hold, like someone's got a tight hold on the inside of my chest.
Does it feel like it's pulling it towards the back? Or does it feel like it's pushing it? Does it feel like a pull or a push?
Just there, not really pulling or but just there, like.
Does it have a color?
I think of red.
Okay. And does it have, like, could you label it? Does it feel like fear? Does it feel like a warning? Does it feel like scared, timid, shame? Like, what does it feel like if you were to label it as a feeling word? Like, I feel.
almost like a nervousness type.
I feel, just stay with me here. I feel nervous because I don't want
I don't want to explode.
Okay, I feel nervous because I don't want to explode. Yeah. So this is the story that your brain and your body have going on. It's just the relationship that it has been in the past, and it's meant to protect you at whatever time and space. You made the agreement that this is how you would keep yourself safe. And so you might even have just gotten a vision, an image of remembering a time. Sometimes we don't have to, but sometimes we'll go right, we're like, oh yeah, I felt this when I was how old? I was a little girl. I felt this when my mom and dad were fighting. I felt this when I felt unsafe in the classroom. I felt this when, right? Sometimes it'll just appear for us. And then we can recognize, oh, okay, I remember. And then we're willing to experience this sensation now. We don't have to go and change the story. We don't even have to go and investigate the story. We just need to understand where the feeling came from. When we made the agreement, that's how we would protect ourselves. Because then we take this into our business, we take this into our relationships, we take this into our pantry, into our health, into our bodies. That's the old neural pathway. So tell me now, what do you feel in your chest?
I'm feeling a lot of understanding now of like where it first comes from. You know, you learn how to ride a bike. They take the training wheels off and you learn how to balance. At 50 years old, I could still ride that bike, but where did I first learn how to ride that bike? When I was 3 or 4? So I'm kind of getting an understanding right now.
Okay. So whenever you look into your chest or feel into your chest, how would you describe it now? Is it lighter? Is it less? Is it wider? Is it shorter? Is it more pressure? Is it like, how would you describe it?
Less pressure, but more fear.
So it could be like almost because our body and our mind kind of has this relationship, right? It's not safe to dig deeper. It's not safe to know what's coming up because I repressed this for a reason. I turned this off for a reason. I suppressed, I repressed, I am oppressed, all of those things. Imagine we press it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it comes up and the brain is like, no. Remember, we turned that off. And for you in particular, and all of you can make your own assessment, but for you in particular, I may explode. It's unsafe to feel this because I may lash out. I may hurt someone. This is the exact definition of TMS, the mind-body syndrome, the mind-body disconnect. This is where chronic pain comes from, this exact thing. I must keep it hidden and at bay. I may kill someone. I may hurt someone. I may hurt myself. If I were able to feel all of this anger and rage, I'd be more powerful than what is safe. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If I let this unbottle, if I let this, it's almost like having a Coke bottle,
Yeah.
taking it and opening it. And so your brain is protecting you. We must keep that hidden. We must keep that over there. And then we make up a story. Our intellect tries to understand it and says it's about writing the paper, or it's about putting out the post, or it's about telling somebody what we do. That's what the intellect does. The intellect takes that emotion and makes up a story about it. Stay with me. This is how we unravel and navigate. Because now that you have information and awareness, you can tell your brain, listen, it's okay. It's safe to feel. It's safe to explore. That's how it was in the past. That's not me anymore. I'm a grown-ass woman. I can maintain and control my emotions. I can make rational decisions. The mind learns through repetition. So me saying this to you and then you saying it to yourself, I am safe. It is safe to explore. It's safe to acknowledge. It's safe to have this sensation in my body. I'm actually just processing something of the past that was unintegrated. But now that I have the awareness, isn't that interesting? Let's see what comes up. How do you feel now?
I'm feeling like safe right now.
Okay.
Like
So
I'm in
how
a safe.
would you describe the sensation in the chest?
Like calm, the
This
calmness over me.
is how you navigate, guys.
Huh.
This is how you neutralize
Mhm.
the sensation. See if you can receive that. The brain loves things to be easy and pleasurable. So does it feel pleasurable to have this easy, to have this release, to have this calm in your body? Does that feel pleasurable?
Definitely.
So we want to stay here and we want to appreciate the liberation. That's what I call it. It's liberation. Now, bring up the thing that started the sensation and see how you can do it differently. That's navigating. You go to do the thing, a sensation comes up. Typically, we just go backwards and shut down because it's not comfortable. That's what our brain says. It's not comfortable. Don't do it. But if you stay right here for 90 seconds and you process, you describe, you journal, you talk about it, you get that space held for you until it neutralizes. Now you're creating new neural pathways. And that pathway is, it is safe. It's safe to follow through. And see if you can see a different route. Instead of taking exit 59, which is to shut down and be quiet, what will you do now?
You know that it's okay to get aggravated. What started all this was because my internet is on the blink right now for some reason. And I had to get to my iPad and I was mad. But instead of just getting mad and just being mad, I was like, okay, just don't worry about it. Deal with it later. Got the iPad out and just made things calm and simple. But I don't want to. I want it to be mad. Like, I am mad because my internet should be working. I'm paying for it and I can't use it when I need it. But see, now I'm able to verbalize and be okay with being mad, but being mad in a positive way, not being mad in a negative way where I'm knocking down the windows and pulling curtains and,
throwing stuff on the highway. I used to say, I'm going to take my computer and I'm going to put it on the highway and I'm going to watch the 18-wheelers run over it.
yes,
That's how I felt. I was so angry.
yeah.
So this is how you constructively diffuse inner rage and anger, which is a trigger. The rage didn't just come from the computer. It didn't just come from the internet. The rage is built up. It's years of pent up stress and experience. That's why it feels like the Coke bottle was going to explode.
Mhm.
This is why relationships are so hard and tricky, guys. This is why entrepreneurship is so hard. This is why losing weight is so hard, and why getting healthy and healing our bodies is so hard, because the story behind the sensation that we've created is controlling us rather than us controlling the experience. Can you see it? So feel into your chest now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how does it feel?
Feels good. I got a 10. It feels good. Yeah.
Susie says it feels like an annoying, irritated feeling, like I have to defend myself. I think it comes from remembering that we didn't protect ourselves. It's a vulnerable feeling. So you guys that are here, as we worked through this with Chantel, were you able to get some relief and move sensation through your own body? Just notice. Right. Was that helpful in explaining how to navigate? It's a matter of staying, continue to unravel it, to unpack it, but stay with the feeling instead of doing the old habit and behavior. The new habit and behavior is it is safe to stay. It is safe to feel. It is safe to explore. You're looking at the sensation. This is what I call leaning into it. Like, let's take a closer look. Is it close to the heart? Is it far from the heart? Is it behind the back? Is it like, let's take a closer look and lean into it. Just get curious. What's the story behind it? It's like opening the closet to see what's inside. Like, what's making that noise inside? But it takes courage. This is the stuff we're going to be doing in Self-Healing Masters. It's really staying in that processing and really pulling that, staying with it, identifying, holding that space. It's really coming into that safety so that we can recognize, and then we'll tie in and break up the belief system behind it. What does that feel like for you, Mallory?
It's comforting to know that there's a place to be able to put all of that, like without having the judgment and without someone else like questioning, why do you feel like that, and why would you think something like that, and all the other questions that come behind it. Like someone,
Like you shouldn't be, right?
yeah, like feeling judged for thinking a thought or feeling an emotion that's just normal without having to like hide it.
Yeah. It's almost like demystifying humanity.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started the More Than Mindset live show, that's what I wanted to do, is like, let's talk about all of the things that the human really wants to do that is not allowed in the material world. Like, let's demystify those desires, those wants, those, it's bad to want to make money, to have amazing sex, to want to dress voluptuously and beautifully, like all of those things. Like, let's see what we got here. We have to be willing to let go of our attachment to our story to get to neutrality. When I get triggered, sometimes my emotions are so strong, my brain chews on the issue. I think it's the habit. So for those of you who get stuck in the sensation, like Chantel, this has been like an experience, right, for you, that it was really hard for you to go here, but look how easy it was today. But the last year, you did not feel safe to go there. Like, it did not feel comfortable. And so it is a matter of retraining your brain to just stay in the game. It's okay. It's okay. Let's stay in the game. And I find when you're watching other people have breakthroughs, that helps, because you're like, oh, maybe it's available for me too. If that's, if I was able to see it in them or have it in them, then, maybe, just maybe, if I go a little bit more this time or I stay a little bit longer. And so I think it does have a lot to do with trusting. Like, imagine a closet door and there's like a mouse in it. And she's like making all this noise, a lot of noise, like it's knocking things down and you got these boxes. You're kind of like, is there a person in there? It's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of sensation, a lot of rage in here. And so the first time you might just like put your ear close to it and then you'll wait, right? And then it'll settle and then it comes back again. And then maybe you'll open and kind of like take a flashlight and look and then close it back. Make sure there's not enough space for it to get out. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we have to kind of inch into this. And it depends on the intensity of our trauma, the intensity of our past, of the recordings that we have told ourselves over and over and over, and how strong that is. Healing is not a linear process. It's not going to be the same for all of us. Like my husband doesn't have any of this stuff to work through. He just doesn't understand why we would spend time focusing on this or doing this. And it's like, because I trained my nervous system to respond and protect me in a very intense way because I didn't feel safe. And so it took more time for me to heal the nervous system so that I'm not reacting to the emotion. So what you're feeling is the nervous system is still heightened. So it hasn't gotten to the space to where you're actually in the experience and not reacting to it. So I found myself in the experience of intense shame. And then I noticed, like I kept working it and working it and working it. I can tell you exactly what shame feels like. Like it's hot. Shame is like you feel beet red. It's down your arms. Shame is like right here. It pulsates in the throat. Can anybody else relate to that? What shame feels like? It is so hot. It's like having a heat lamp in front of you. Just shame. And I remember the experience and like when I was working through it, and then I was like in the most shameful position and I started laughing. I popped right back up. I fell. I was on the beach. I fell. There's a guy behind me. He comes up around me and he's like, nice comeback. I'm like, I know, right? It's like, no shame. Where did the shame go? Like, what just happened? But I had been working it very intensely. It's just like staying with it, feeling it all the way through. So I trained my brain not to be afraid of a sensation. But that doesn't come just like, it's not a one-time thing, right? It was let me get closer to the door. Let me describe the door. Let me, go into it. So that's how I navigated. And so that's what I'm offering you guys is you just go right back to presence. Like this feels really scary. So I want to eject. That's my soul's natural instinct is to eject, especially if you've had some deep trauma. We disassociate. And so when you feel yourself wanting to leave, wanting to pull away, not wanting to like speak or talk, when you feel that, take a breath, come back in. It is safe to be here. I am present. I notice the fear. I notice the intensity in my body. These sensations feel very controlling. And then unpack it. Unravel. Is this true in this moment? Am I unsafe? Because the thing is, our brain has the experience of what we think. Because, Chantel, was there anything going on in the here and now? No. And you were feeling the sensation, right? By a thought. I said, hey guys, bring a thought. You brought a thought and then you physically witnessed it in your body. Am I right? You all feel that? It was just a memory, just a thought. That's how much power and control we have over the sensations in our body. So just as easily as we could bring ourselves into a frightened feeling, we can bring ourselves into a calm feeling. Breath and presence will bring you into calm. Memory will bring you into what was, right? That old experience. And then forward thinking will bring you into anxiety because you start worrying about it ahead of time. Candace says, so important to listen to your body, pause, choose to respond instead of react in order to keep learning and growing. Yep, exactly. That is the key. That's the key to navigating. So whether it's something deep like this, or it's the Oreo, which I like to use food because we can all relate. It's you're noticing the sensation. So this is when we're really working on the emotional intelligence in the navigate part. The unravel, we're really working on the thoughts that create it. The presence is we just want to see the story so that we can unpack the thought and that we can feel the sensation so that we can come to neutrality. So this is how we create emotional stability. Does that make sense? Because if we're emotionally stable, then we're not reacting. We are responding. It's a practice. It's a practice. We were not taught how to do this. Just like you had to learn how to read and put alphabets together in order to say words. You are now learning how thoughts and sensations create experience. Just like you can make up words, which Guillory does a lot. Just like you can make up words and meanings, you can make up. You see what I'm saying? You can make up experiences. But you have to be able to stay in the experience long enough for it to process and integrate. Then you can embody it, and then you move on from the experience and it's no longer triggered. Tell me if that makes sense. Navigate is probably the everything. The ability to navigate through life, whether you're in a tsunami, a hurricane, a divorce, a death, it doesn't matter what. Oreo cookies for the 100th time. Your brain's like, let's go get them. Let's go get them. There's 4 left. We should eat them. Then they won't bother us tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a great day if we just get it over with. Let's just go, right? Could we navigate through something even that simple for the reward that we want tomorrow? Are you willing to not lash out in a Facebook group for the reward that you want at the end of the day? Are you willing to sit in an uncomfortable conversation with someone that you're having a deep, meaningful relationship with in order for it to become more intimate? The ability comes through the navigating process. The ability to navigate. All right, we still have a few minutes. Do you feel like I talked too much? Did anyone not get to share what they wanted to share? Emily, is this helpful for what you're talking about with the pin prickly filling all over the body? You might, I don't know if she can type in. She says yes. I know she has a little one and not doing it. Chantel, how do you feel now?
I'm feeling more in control, like understanding and knowing that it's okay. So I'm feeling at ease, feeling good, better.
Yeah. It's okay to have sensation in my body.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. Hi, Emily. It's okay to have sensation in my body and not react to it, not eject it, not shut it down, not explode. I actually can just pause, explore, question, be with it. That is navigating. Navigating is staying. It's allowing, it's being in it so that we can do the next step, which is when it starts getting fun. So what happens in like the law of attraction and a lot of coaching is there's this bypassing, not navigating. Bypassing and navigating are two totally different things. They're complete opposites. So in the just change your thoughts, change your thoughts, change your thoughts, and just go do the thing, white knuckle it, push through it. That will last for somewhat. You can get so far with that, but then you'll reach the point where you're constantly hitting the brick wall because you're not like going all the way through the process. So you're not really navigating through the neural pathway. You're not changing the way you think. You're just like, what would I say? Like you're just taking a different route, but then you're going to come back to what's at the end of the exit. Like you're going to come back to that eventually if you don't allow what's the root cause of it to be exposed. So let's say there's a mouse in the closet. We hear the noise. We leave it closed long enough to where it dies, but we never find out where the mice are coming from. So they're going to keep coming in. Does that make sense? The root cause is there's a weep hole open and they keep coming in. I don't know if that was a great analogy or not. Mallory's laughing because we live in the country. We have mice. you don't cover the weep holes. I'm in constant pun mode with the energetic toddler all day. Oh, heck yeah. I'm sorry, it's gross, but I mean, I didn't want it to be like a person hiding in the closet. Have you ever heard a mouse? They make crazy noises. It's crazy the noises they can make. I'm next to rice fields out here, so this is a real thing. They're in the attic, and one little mouse's long fingernails could makes it sound like there's like tons of them, and it's one, and it's this big. Now I'll be thinking of my old stories as mice. Great. Yes, great. I had mice in my car. Oh my gosh, were they chewing the wires? They were trying to stay warm. No. So gross. All right, guys, thank you for coming. You can take up the conversation in the group. Hey, little one. I have them in LA plus raccoons. All right. Chantel, thank you very much for demonstrating, for, being present with us and allowing us to go there, because it is so helpful when we, instead of me just saying it, when we can actually do the processing. For those who are watching on YouTube or the replay, if you don't know yet, Self-Healing Masters is open next week. So I'm really excited. This is the kind of work that we're going to do there. Plus a little bit more. We're going to take things really deep. It's a community for self-healing where the punchline approach is the entree, but there is dessert. There'll be workshops and dessert. Go ahead, Susie.
Yeah, I just want to say, so I don't worry so much about mice in the closet, but I do worry about my hidden beliefs. So going from the N to the C in the punchline approach, when we navigate out all of our stuff, I look forward to, and like when you can let go of those hidden beliefs, like say you're affirming I'm wealthy, but you go broke because deep down inside you don't believe you're really wealthy. So that's what the navigating is. Although it's not maybe fun, like the creating, when you unveil and navigate, then you can create and really, truly, like you can write an affirmation, yeah. I'm wealthy and abundant, and really believe it. Like that's awesome. Like that's cool. Because I did all those programs before, but I kept getting broker because I was bypassing the deep, I'm not worth it thing. So we're talking all about all this stuff, but it really changes your life. But every person is different. What you're unveiling and what you're navigating, that's the hard part. But when you get to the create part, that's the fun part. So you go through the hard, shitty, gross, ugly, embarrassing part to get to the good part, because you want to believe in abundance, but God bless all those people who do all that magic voodoo and just boom, they become billionaires. But you know what? That didn't work for me. I manifested the opposite. So, I think we're human beings and we have a whole lifetime to unveil and navigate. So it may not be glamorous and as fun as a magic wand, but it's real. So, for me, it worked because it's working, because it's getting to those root negative beliefs to get.
If we don't do it, we won't know how to celebrate the abundance when we do receive it. And then we go back to the, we have to know how to stay in sensation. And so the navigate teaches us how to stay in sensation, the good and the bad, the negative and the positive. It teaches us to stay in all of it, because here's what's going to happen. You can win the lottery, but you never learn how to appreciate it. You never learn to be worthy of it. You're just going to like destroy it. And so that's why I think it doesn't work long term is, I mean, just by doing the thought work, because you really don't believe it. And so what's happening that you don't see is you're saying the affirmation and then there's a but, and that story is what's creating unconsciously. It's the same part of us that's your heart's beating and your bladder's working, your kidneys working, your lungs are working without you. Same thing with your beliefs. Imagine your limiting beliefs or your old beliefs being an organ that your unconscious is just keeping on the pump. So that's a really good point is, and also that I think there's well-meaning prosperity coaches. In other words, I think they are telling you exactly what to do from the place of believing. I think they forgot to pull the plug on the disbelief. They assumed, or they forgot that what it took for them to get there, or they never had the trauma belief to start off with. I'm not sure. I mean, I remember stopping my bike and telling Louise, hey, she missed it. Like, no, boo. You missed the point where we unplug the root cause. You missed the point where we get rid of that belief. All right, my guys, I love you. I don't want to keep you longer because I want you all to know that we end on time and you can trust that here. Emily says, that's what I'm feeling right now. Fun energy about losing weight. Yeah, it is. It's so much funner when you do it in like the process that where you, because the mind learns through repetition. And so you keep the PUN, and then you're like create, and then there's the ease. Instead of this constant white knuckling it, I can't lose what I'm doing. It's unreal thing. All right. See you on the create part.